Well, good morning, everybody. This is DearMamaSal on a chilly feeling Tuesday morning. It's 3 degrees here in southern British Columbia. That would make it 37 in American. And I just see that the Roto-Rooter van is outside a house there. And my heart goes out to them, having had many hours of that problem myself. I have absolutely nothing but total heartfelt sympathy for anybody who's got a Roto-Rooter truck outside their door, especially at this time of the year. I hope that the reason the truck is outside their door is because the person lives there. That would be much better, wouldn't it? That would be reframing it, not because they need it. Yeah, right. So, a very good morning to all. We're down to about 95 days until Christmas. 95 days until spring. Yay. And the joke is we haven't got to the start of winter yet, but we're getting very close, as you can imagine. I think when we can sort of keep these things in perspective, life becomes much easier for us. I did not do what I planned to do last night. I worked a full day, which I'm very proud of myself for, because I wasn't sure I'd be able to do that. But I paced myself very quietly and just did a little bit of everything. It was so overwhelming, quite honestly. You don't want to know what my office looked like. I had become the dumping ground of everybody's stuff, apparently, while I'd been away. And so my desk was like a mountain of paper. And everything around me was just, 3 times as high as it should have been. And I just spent the day doing a little bit of tidying up and getting it into what I call manageable piles, and just doing a little bit of each. And I'm going to keep doing just a little bit of each until I get it back to normal. The interesting thing is, I've got a job that you will never ever be up to date in. And I learnt that a long time ago, so I don't even attempt that. The trick is, can I keep it to a dull roar? That the overwhelm is just a little bit challenging rather than total overwhelm. And that's what I'm hoping for. The good news is we've got the Christmas week coming up pretty soon, and that week I will be working, and hopefully I'll get a chance to get quite caught up during that week. Actually, in my company, we're incredibly busy over that Christmas week. We're incredibly busy all of the time. A lot of companies, they slow down. For some reason, ours doesn't. I'm not quite sure why that is. But even when we're on sort of fairly skeleton staff over the sort of Christmas time, and I'm nearly always on during that time, it's amazing how busy we are. Anyway, I hope you all had a super day yesterday. Thank you for those of you who wrote. And I'm glad that discussing these things is helping so many of you. And I really do thank all of you who write to me with your various issues, because you may think you're the only one who's got an issue, or your particular issue, but I have news for you, you're wrong. It has been my experience that somebody writing to me about their issue normally triggers a whole lot of other people to write to me in terms of what's going on in their life. And So I always like to give really big credit for those of you who, bother to write and say what's going on in your life. We have had so many wonderful stories over the course of Dear Mama Sal, so many wonderful stories of people who have grown to quite a degree. I remember over the weekend one of the viewers saying to me that she remembers the time BS, and I'm going to say BS because it was before Sal. How do you like that? Right, BS, yeah, right. There's going to be a hidden meaning in there somewhere. So early on a Tuesday, Sal. Anyway, but she was saying that over the course of listening to the various vlogs over the couple of years, she had learnt so much about so many things, and realized how she was living her life to please others, not in terms of herself. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should be selfish in that. That's not what I've ever suggested. I don't believe that either. In fact, I have to tell you something. Something happened in my household in the last 24 hours. For those of you who know Yvonne, she's my friend and my tenant of many, many years. I think 17 years or something. Ridiculous. Anyway, but I was busy trying to organize Christmas, and I couldn't get the time right between Yvonne and Wade and Dougie. And I was busy juggling dates, and it was so funny because Yvonne came to me and she looked me straight in the face and she just about wagged a finger in my eye and went, "Now then, listen to me. If Doug can't make this date, you go back to the original date that Doug suggested, even though I won't be there." Going, "No." She's going, "Yes." She said, "I'm fed up with you trying to please everybody and get us a date that suits us all, and sometimes it just doesn't happen." It was really cute. So I behaved myself and I did that. Of course, that means I'll be cooking 2 Christmas dinners. But what the heck? Only if I insist, right? I can cook 2 dinners, not necessarily Christmas dinners. Okay, I can handle that. So, you've probably noticed that... Ooh. That's a fun machine. It's a little baby caterpillar thing. Earth-moving thing. I used to play with those in my youth. A long time ago. Lots of stories. Okay. Alright, not quite sure what the hold-up is here, but it's severe. We don't like that. We don't like that when I'm already running late. I still don't quite know what's going on, but there were police cars and all sorts of things going on. We've now been rerouted in some way, and I have no idea where we are or where we're going. I'm not really quite sure how we get out of here, because I've got a horrible feeling it's the blind leading the blind at the moment. Ah, yeah, even the detour is backed up. Oh my gosh. This is not fun. Okay, so it would appear that there is a major glitch in the whole system. I am already nearly half an hour late for work, and I have still got half an hour to drive. So that will tell you absolutely everything you need to know. And that is that it's totally out of my control. And when it's totally out of your control, there's no point in stressing about it, because it's not going to make it any better. I've done what I can. I've warned people that there's a problem. And that's all that I can do. Drink my coffee. It's very exciting to think that this time next week we will know whether we hit our target in December. I was looking a couple of days ago and noticed that we'd already hit 26,000. And you know, it's so funny because I just think back to the days when our total that we made was 24,000, and how excited we were that year, because the year before that we'd made, the year before that we'd made 15 or something. So you understand, to suddenly make 26,000 was a huge improvement. It's just going to be one of those days today. Now I'm parked next to a tree chipping machine. Oh, it smells so good. It really does. Alright, now then, after all that delay, I am now back on the road I need to be back on. Wow. And I probably will edit out most of the gap. But that was like a 20-minute delay. And yet again, I will say to you that I look at it this way. I'm a great believer that if God detoured me for 20 minutes on my way to work this morning, the chances are he was protecting me in some way. I don't know what it is yet, nor I may never know what it was. But I'm a great believer when those sort of detours happen, there's a reason for it that really I have no knowledge of. And I assure you, I would rather be 20 minutes or half an hour late for work than not arrive at all, for example. It was very interesting. One of the comments that we got yesterday, and I can't remember who made it, but I thank you for it. It was about how, you know, I'd made a comment yesterday about being judged, and I said, you know, of course I would be judged, and it'd be quite human nature. Anyway, whoever it was that wrote to me said, you know, she's obviously closer to my age as well, and she said she's noticed that the older she gets, the less she cares about being judged. And I think I'd like to give that hope to a lot of you. When I think about it, you know, when I was young, I really did worry so much about what people thought of me and their judgment of me and so forth. And really, I used to defend myself so much when it's really not my stuff anymore, you know what I mean? It's just like, just is what it is. I have to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised how many people at work were genuinely concerned about me when I got back yesterday. You know, obviously a lot of them realized I had been pretty darn sick, and so I was very gratified by that. And last night, I had probably one of the best night's sleep I've had in 2 weeks. And that was really exciting, because it's all part of my body resting enough to heal itself, which is, you know, really what I'm trying to do at the moment. I wanted to sort of challenge you all. I woke up and listened to the news this morning, and I heard that the whole of the LA school district was locked down with a possible terrorist threat. Locked down because there was a possibility of a threat. Even that doesn't sound right. There was a credible threat. Not anything specific, but enough that it scared a lot of people, obviously. And I thought, you know, I was really touched by the way the school superintendent was sort of talking to all the employers and saying, you know, please do whatever you can to assist your workers in being able to get back to their children. Basically, they were going to all need a day off to babysit their children because they were closing down all the schools. But I was thinking, you know, that's a really big disruption when you think about it, because how many working parents are there today? You know, an awful lot. When I grew up, the majority of women did not work. I was in that generation where we started to work, if you know what I mean. But, you know, so if school had been closed down suddenly, it wouldn't have been quite a big an issue. Except that, of course, the communication level was different in those days. But anyway, but I was thinking that today, you know, I tried to think about where I work. You know, if all the parents of school-going children had to suddenly go and look after their children, how many people would be left in my office? I'm like, wow, that's quite amazing when you think of it in those terms. So I was sort of wanted to realize, or wanted to think about the fact that while it's really scary to have a blanket shutdown like the whole of the school system in LA, my challenge was, I'm pretty sure that most people would prefer that to the opposite, which is, why didn't you close down the schools when you thought there was such a threat? And I think we're going to see more and more of this. I think it's going to become the norm. Now, there's part of me that goes, was it some 16-year-old hacker who just, you know, decided to hack into the system and put out a threat so that he didn't have to go to school, or she? And I guess my next comment on that one is they're going to have some pretty severe penalties for anybody who does this sort of hacking for fun. I mean, we've always had the prankster hacker, but I think with today's terror threats, that there are probably going to have to be some very severe penalties for hacking for the fun of it and causing a terror situation such as we're seeing in LA today. And I guess my question is, what would you recommend? You know, if your son or daughter quietly was sitting in their bedroom and hacking into a system and causing this sort of terror, what punishment do you think would be appropriate? And what do you do if you find out it was a 13-year-old who just happened to have the smarts to be able to do it? So give that some thought. Give me some feedback on that. I'm quite interested to hear your wisdom on this, because I believe that the rules of the game have changed, and that, you know, it's like in my time, I guess somebody would pull a fire alarm and, you know, the school would empty out and you'd all be outside playing instead of doing schoolwork. But this is like, if for example is somebody just doing it for the fun of it, think of the productivity downtime, think of the threat implications, think of the manpower required to check every single school for bombs or whatever they're checking for. What is the correct punishment? Quite something. And I think, look at it two ways. Number one is, what punishment would you suggest if you didn't know the person? And what punishment would you suggest if it were your son or daughter? And the reason I say both is because normally the answers are not the same. And so my word for today is challenge. There's no doubt about it, I've been challenged today. Again, my day is disrupted. Again, my day has not gone the way that it's meant to. Obviously, there was a major problem. I'll find out sometime during the day what it was. But you don't cross, what do you call it, cut off a major route. You don't shut that down in the morning without a good reason and cause everybody to have to take a half-hour detour. They had to have a good reason to do that. Well, hello again, everybody. I'm adding this little bit on the end here because I know somewhere along the broadcast my battery ran out, owing to the fact I had the big detour going to work today, which means I didn't finish it properly. And I know at least one viewer gets very upset if I don't finish if I don't finish the vlog properly. So here we go. Thank you for watching. Look after yourselves more than you look after others. And most of all, thank you for being who you are. Bye-bye for now.